tape right here. Comparable numbers, as you see. Each man coming in right around 160 pounds. Hagler right at 160. Antuofermo a pound and a quarter less. Little to choose between the two. Round one, Antuofermo the challenger. He wants back what he once had. Marvin Hagler the champion. He has what Antuofermo had and what he wants. Hagler will switch from lefty to righty. Antuofermo, generally speaking, will bore in. Hagler, the aggressor early on, missed with those.
Hagler's best bet in this fight is stay at long range and keep Antuofermo on the outside. I think that's possibly what he's going to do.
And right away, a butt. On the first occasion, a butt has opened the forehead right below the hairline of Vito Antuofermo.
And it was Antuofermo who instigated the butt himself.
45 seconds into the first round. It can have an effect. It is a nasty cut. A nasty cut.
The cut's right at the top of the forehead. Nothing to do with his surgery, however.
Freddie Brown is yelling to the referee, Davy Pearl. Let's talk about that for a minute, Arthur. Now, what would he be saying?
Well, he's telling Freddie Brown to sit down, not to come up on the ring apron, which is really illegal. It could create a fine and a fine situation.
What did Brown want? What did Brown want?
Brown wanted Davy Pearl to look for the head. He probably thinks it was the fault of Hagler on that butt.
Now, Davy Pearl is going to have to make a decision on whether it was an accidental or an intentional butt. Is that not right?
That's his decision to make. That's correct.
And if the fight winds up being called because of an accidental butt, it is a technical draw, and Marvin Hagler will retain the championship. A very, very unfortunate thing early in the fight. We expected to see a bloody fight, but we did not expect to see it for the reasons that it was caused.
That was certainly an accidental butt. There wasn't deliberate on the part of anybody. It's just the style of Antuofermo who comes in with his head down that way, and that's what started.
Well, you hate to see a championship fight go like that this early. It happened 45 seconds into the first round. There has been not a serious punch thrown, not a punch that has done any damage. It was a butt on the first lunge, if you will, of the fight by Vito Antuofermo. There's a lot of blood.
I think that Hagler was equally as surprised as Antuofermo when he came out and saw the blood.
It's just a shame, because whatever artistry there might have been in this fight will be for naught.
Well, it might appear to be much worse than it really is. After Freddie Brown works on it, he'll have a better determination.
It will be a frantic 1 minute between rounds, between the first and second round. The first round, I must say, has been an interminable 3 minutes. There is a lot of blood right below the hairline of Vito Antuofermo.
The real question is whether the blood is getting into Antuofermo's eyes. The cut is not a dangerous cut. It's whether the blood blinds Antuofermo. And to this minute, you can't really say that it affected him.
Freddie Brown is saying, stop the fight, no fight. Freddie Brown is telling his man not to fight. Freddie Brown is saying, no fight. In the ring, the crowd is booing.
Freddie Brown and the Antuofermo camp is trying to tell the official that Hagler butted him. They're going over to Walter Byers, who's the chairman of the Massachusetts Boxing Commission, to plead their case, and maybe to try to get some extra time for Hagler.
Let's eavesdrop. See if we can hear what's going on.
I don't think the fight will be stopped, however.
The official has said, the referee has said that he wants the fight to go on.
That's correct.
Walter Byers has said the fight should go on. That means that if they don't let the fight go on, Antuofermo will be declared the loser.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. But Freddie Brown is the one who insisted that the fight was over with.
Antuofermo wants to fight.
Well, I think now what Davy Pearl should do is clear the ring, get Freddie Brown and get that trainer out of there and get the fight going. These two fighters might now, as you see them in the middle of the ring, start fighting.
Behind us.
promoter Barb Arum is yelling at the referee to get them out of the ring, or else their fighter will be disqualified. I don't know if Freddie Brown was trying to be clever and save his fighter a few minutes to give that cut a chance or not, or whether he was just excited and genuinely believed what he was arguing about.
I do believe that's true.
Well, he was pretty adamant about it. Round 2. They have not been able to stem the flow of blood completely from Vito Antuofermo. That certainly will change Antuofermo's tactics. Antuofermo's just going to have to go out there and get him. There is no further blood.
You'll notice that Antuofermo does lead with his head an awful lot. He's got his head up and he leads in first with his head.
There was no question but that he lunged at Marvin Hagler. And when he came up, there was a nasty cut on the forehead. We then had about a 2-minute debate at the start of round 2, and Hagler sticks him pretty good that time. And a right hand by Antuofermo scores. Hagler trying to measure his man. Both fighters are going to have to get their concentration back. There had to be a lapse of concentration during that discussion.
Antuofermo is giving all that he can. He's just trying to knock him out with one punch, which is really quite impossible for Vito.
Hagler, of course, has not lost a fight since 1976. Ironically, the 2 fights he did lose in 1976, the only 2 fights he's lost in his career, he lost within a 2-month period. And blood again shows, this time under the eye, actually, of Vito Antuofermo. Hagler goes after him, hits him with combinations. This has nothing to do with a butt in the first round. Another right hand scores against Antuofermo, who now leans in on Marvin Hagler, the champion.
Vito is totally defenseless at this point, and he's got another cut right under the left eye.
And now the cut from the forehead, again showing blood about halfway through round 2. And Hagler continues to pepper the forehead now.
His forehead is not spouting blood as seriously as it did in the first round. That's very important.
Freddie Brown did an excellent job of stopping the flow of blood.
And again, Hagler sticking that right hand on the forehead of Vito Antuofermo. But while it looks like there's a lot of blood, there is not as much blood, certainly, as there was in the first round.
Vito keeps coming in continually. If he would try, and of course he can't because that's his style, just to back up a little bit and get a little rest, but he won't do it.
Hagler effectively sticking that right hand in the face of a bloodied Vito Antuofermo, who comes back now with combinations to the head and body, but not very effectively. Once again, Antuofermo with 2 right hands. And a left hand by Hagler as he has Antuofermo against the ropes. Antuofermo spins away. And we come to the end of round 2. 2 fighters exchanging words.
Not leading with his right or left.
Should point out Larry Merchant, always the fashion plate here. Not to indicate that this is a bloody fight, but Larry, folks, is wearing a bib.
A lobster bib.
Round 3 in the meantime. See what a job Freddie Brown has done. Good left hand that time by Hagler. Antuofermo also has a cut underneath the left eye.
Hagler's jab is very effective tonight.
And another good right hand right to the eye. And again, another jab. Always on the damaged area. Always on the damaged area. It may not be a pretty scene, but it is the job.
It seems that Hagler...
And there is a left hand that puts Antuofermo down. A left hand to the forehead by Marvin Hagler put him right on his backside. Didn't seem to hurt him, seemed to stun him more than it did hurt him.
He didn't seem to know where he was for a moment.
That is only the 3rd time in the career of Vito Antuofermo that he has been knocked down. Twice in his last fight. And again, blood showing from the scalp of Vito Antuofermo. Showing more in this round actually than it did in the last round. Hagler just kind of measuring his man.
Hagler seems quite calm, not excited at all, and is using a great left jab. His jab is just great. That right jab is just scoring at all times at that vulnerable cut.
Hagler, who often will switch to a right-hand style, unlikely to do so in this case because all the damage is to the left side of Vito Antuofermo's face. So you would have to think he would likely stay with that right jab. And coming in underneath the defense that time and staggering Antuofermo once again is Marvin Hagler. Again, Antuofermo coming at his man, trying to smother him. There is blood on Hagler now too, but it is from Antuofermo. And Hagler again peppering his man 2, 3, 4 times to the face of Vito Antuofermo.
It just seems to be too much head contact, if you'll notice, one on the inside.
And now blood flowing freely again from the forehead of Vito Antuofermo. And most of that really is still being done with the head, not with the fists. That time, hitting on the break, apologizing to Marvin, to Vito Antuofermo. To say that Vito Antuofermo is game would be to make a great understatement.
Yeah, he is a mauling, brawling type of fighter who never gives up. He's just very brave in that.
I think we mentioned earlier he has been cut in every fight that he's had, with one exception, and that was a fight that he lost in a 15-round decision.
Let's take a look at the knockdown here. After using his jab, Hagler had Antuofermo very jab conscious, and he came across with the left hand. There's a jab right over the eye. It's a good straight jab, a right jab. That one was a little bit lower under the eye. And obviously Antuofermo has to be very conscious, and there was a left hand, a short straight left hand, as Antuofermo was looking again for that right jab. Here it is from another angle, I believe. There's the right hand over the eye, the right under the eye, and now watch that left hand, a straight left hand. And I think, having seen it now, it looked like he caught Antuofermo coming in and a little bit off balance. It wasn't a devastating blow, and obviously for the rest of the round, there weren't any serious effects on Antuofermo.
As we said, it seemed to just stun him more than it did hurt him.
I don't think I've ever seen a fighter like Antuofermo who went further with his will and so little skill.
I don't think there's any question about it. The first round butt, of course, having a profound effect on the fight, although right at this juncture of the fight you would have to say that it's Marvin Hagler's fight regardless. The blood really has not so much gotten in the eyes of Vito Antuofermo.
And Marvin Hagler, if you notice, is boxing a lot now. He's from the outside coming in, and as we said before, jabbing and coming across with that effective left.
Looks as though there could be a little bit of a cut on the brow now, the left eye of Vito Antuofermo too, although that may just be blood from the top of the head.
This fight is beginning to resemble a fight I saw many years ago, the second Sugar Ray Robinson-Basilio fight, in which Basilio's left eye looked like a gargoyle. It was closed early on.
Well, you saw that right hand by Marvin Hagler, and Antuofermo now is cut under the right eye.
Antuofermo is being beaten to the punch at all times. He just won't stay on the outside. He must get on the inside.
And the blood really showing actually from under the right eye of Antuofermo even more than the cut from the butt. It is well under the right eye, alongside the bridge of the nose, actually.
Antuofermo also has a swelling now around the right eye. It's kind of black and blue down below this hip.
And bleeding from below that.
Yeah.
What had happened before the operation with Antuofermo was that he actually bled internally first, and then of course the blood had no place to go, so it cut much easier. That was the reason he had that operation in the first place, was to smooth out.
I think he's opened it now.
The supraorbital ridge above his eyes.
Yes.
How's that for a non-doctor?
You know your anatomy quite good, don't you, Barry?
Don't you believe it? I read books. My mother still wants me to be a doctor.
Not too late.
Got to have something to fall back on when you're in this business. Once again, Marvin Hagler forcing the action here and really having it all his own way. And now Antuofermo comes back a little bit. Antuofermo fighting on guts, there's no question. And the most blood now, ironically, on Antuofermo shows from the right side of his face, which was not the side of his face that was damaged early on.
Antuofermo takes so many punches just to get 1 to 2 in.
Once
It
again,
looked like another headbutt. Oh, now Antuofermo seemed to deliberately butt him.
And now Hagler gets the warning, and more blood shows from now the right brow of Vito Antuofermo. It is not pretty. End of round 4.
Looking at Antuofermo, very definitely the ridges over his eyes that used to spring leaks all the time have receded. But as I said earlier, he's now springing leaks from every place else.
Yeah.
Although he does have a cut, I can see right now, he's got a 3 or 4 inch gash over his right eye, and that's the cut that can end the fight. Right there, you can see them trying to treat that cut over his right eye. That's the one that can end the fight.
And once again, there is a discussion raging. Freddie Brown has been arguing with Davy Pearl. And again, Freddie Brown says the fight is over, and Davy Pearl says the fight should go on.
Well, Freddie Brown, I heard him say disqualify him, meaning Hagler, disqualify Hagler.
They ought to leave it up to the fighter at this point.
And now you heard Davy Pearl said he quits. Marvin Hagler's hand is raised. Vito Antuofermo does not like it. It is a fight once again. There was controversy coming into the fight. There is controversy after the fight. There is a lot of booing going on. Marvin Hagler dances. It is Robbie Sims, his brother. Steve Wainwright around him. Let's take a look again. Just 45 seconds into the fight. Here is what happened. Antuofermo on the right now. He'll lunge and he'll hit the side of the head right there.
That's it.
You can see him just jolt his head back. And right there you can see the blood start to form already. Vito feels it, knows he's been cut, puts the glove to the head, and for all intent and purpose, that was really the end of the fight.
That's right.
You look at the winner, Marvin Hagler, to Larry Merchant, who was with the winner, Marvin Hagler.
Okay, Marvin, how did you see what happened in the first round?
Well, you see in the first round, Antuofermo comes straight at me with his head. That was his own fault. He knows that he's vulnerable to cuts and everything like that. Seemed like he would have tried to keep away or whatever instead of ramming straight on with his head.
You're not suggesting that he did it deliberately. He was just leading with his head.
No, he was. And in our first fight, that's what he done here. But I'm glad that we had a great referee today that was very aware of everything. And he watched the butts, he watched the holdings and everything. So I felt very confident there. At least I had a good referee in there. And I just wanted to, I really wasn't loosened up yet. I was just starting to put things together.
What did you think of all of the furor that was going on in his corner with Freddie Brown? Brown apparently wanted the fight stopped on a technicality, and meanwhile he was giving Antuofermo a chance to heal.
Sure. Well, you know, I think that they did come in with some of that stuff on top of his head. I don't know what they were using, but it's kind of dangerous to another fighter because that stuff gets in my eyes, and which it did. I went back to my corner, and he wiped it out of my eyes. It's kind of bad. It blinds a fighter.
Once the fight continued, were you deliberately going for that cut? It did not appear to be in a dangerous place.
I was just putting my punches together, which you see me just starting, loosen up, putting my combinations together. I felt like I was a little tight in the beginning, but I knew that this guy wasn't the same fighter that I fought back there in '79 because he was much too easy, and he gave me, I moved, had a little bit more distance. Like I said, after that fight there with Antuofermo the first time, I went back to school.
What did Antuofermo say to you at the end?
First of all, I just want to say that Antuofermo helped me buy my mother right there a house. And I want to say thank you because it's her birthday, June 17th, and that house will be hers.
What did he say to you at the end?
Well, he wants another rematch or whatever like that. Hey, it's not fair way how things have to end that way, but hey, in this game, everything counts. So it wasn't fair the way they took it from me in the draw either.
Where do you go from here? Is Hamsho, it seems to be the only middleweight who has earned a clear shot at you.
If we can make big money the way that I want to make the money, $1 million or more, I know that gladly we'll take the fight.
Yeah. What about all the welterweights that seem like they can't wait to get a shot at you? Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Wilfredo Benitez.
That's good. If I was a weak champion, they would have been on top of me sooner. But I'm a strong champion. I just want to concentrate on this division, bring the respect back to the middleweight division. And if Sugar Ray Leonard or Tommy Hearns want to move up into my division, come on, fella, because I'm looking for a big payday.
When you were at ringside with us at HBO for the Sugar Ray Leonard fight, you took a look at Leonard for 4 or 5 rounds and you said, I think he should stay as a welterweight.
Yeah, I do feel that way. I still feel that way. I think that all the titles should be combined. I am the true 100% champion, and I do like that because I have both belts. And I feel very happy today, Larry.
Well, unfortunately, we wanted you to take a look at our monitor. Maybe we can bring up that headbutt if we can roll our tape here so that you can take a look at exactly what happened in the fight.
But that butt was very accidental. I remember that because I was going down looking for a body shot.
I think this is the second butt of the fight, Marvin. Would you tell us what you see here?
I'm trying to use a straight, there it is right there. I was going down for the body, which is a good combination. You use a straight right jab and then you go under with the body shot. And he was coming down at the same time I was, and that's how the headbutt collided.
But at that time, the official warned you. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, but you can see
now we're gonna take a look at the knockdown. You were jabbing him just before the knockdown.
That was a beautiful shot there, dead on the money. He never knew what happened. He was down on that one. That came quick. Even myself, I didn't know it was out there. Came quick.
Now in the first fight, you dominated the first half of the fight, and he came back later. Were you concerned?
I wasn't going to let that happen this time. I wasn't going to let it happen. I knew I can get him in the earlier rounds. I was just starting to put things together. I figured with a little bit more, the referee had to stop this fight. This is a very serious game, and people get seriously hurt. If the blood's got in his eyes or something where he couldn't see, I could have maybe damaged him real bad. To myself, I really didn't care because I want to swat that mosquito.
Thank you very much, Marvin Hagler, and back to Barry at ringside.
Okay, thank you, Larry, and the middleweight champion, still the middleweight champion, Marvin Hagler. Let's get the official word right now from Nuno Cam.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee stops the bout, the 5th round, the winner by a TKO, and still middleweight